Make it enter. Open up.
Ivana, what you want to do for my yash? Ivana.
Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Kiam. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the praise and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Rakakwadash. All praises and glory is due, especially in the times of our age. Alright, and some of the clips you just saw were from different skits that were done by Nigerian skit makers, content creators on TikTok here in Nigeria, and it's part of a trend that has been happening over the years of Jake here in Nigeria. Cross dressing, right? So basically putting on the things that pertains to a woman, which is of course against the scriptures, right? And it's something that has been happening for a while now. I didn't really go into it because the spirit didn't really, the spirit wasn't really on me to or to speak on that. But now, right, I was just thinking, but now I was just watching some of these videos, looking for a video to go into, and I saw that and decided that let me just speak on this a little bit, right? So this is the book of Deuteronomy 20, this is the book of Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. Okay, let me go up a little bit here. Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto Yahweh thy power. So you have these dudes, right, these jakes, these men, and it's basically the same thing that you see with in the comedy world in Hollywood, where they always make sure that Jake is cross-dressing, so they make him put on a dress. And a lot of these skit makers here in Nigeria, they always put on a dress, and it's all for the sake of getting views, right? They put on a dress, right? They cosplay, they act as women, right? When they make their little skits about, oh, this is a certain behavior that women exhibit, and they do the cross dressing, they put on the skirt, they put on the garment, the clothes, they even do hair and makeup sometimes, okay, right? And it's all off, man. It's wicked. It's wicked as hell. And like I said, this is all being done for the sake of wealth. And when you call this out, when you say, hey, that's not right, man, that's not, that's not right, that's going off, that's wicked. Oh, as long as they are, oh well, they are making money out of it, oh, stop hating, right? They're getting their money, they're living their life, they're getting their money. And that is another thing about this kingdom. Like I was saying, that is another thing about this kingdom, where you have all these skit makers able to make, right, or content creators continuously pushing the envelope on the ridiculous and insane content that they do, especially when it comes to self-deprecation and humiliation, right? They keep pushing the envelope on what they can actually do, and that's why you see that the content creation world, right, all the content creators are always based on who can do the most ridiculous and most foolish things, okay? Whether it's the streamers, whether it's the skit makers, whether it's just even the basic people that are just posting videos on YouTube, it's always something outlandish, always something ridiculous, and most likely something wicked, which is basically how the skits and content creators behave. That's why you see a lot of these content creators like to mock the scriptures and mock the Most High and mock the Hebrew Israelites. That's why the content that basically mocks the Hebrew Israelites and scoffs at the words of the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahweh is so popular, right, on the YouTube and on the TikTok as well. But once again, nobody says anything, and everybody's just focused on what or how they are making their money, or as long as it's profitable for them. And that's just the issue, right? You see that the love of money, that's why the scriptures say that the love of money is the root of all evil, okay? So because of that love, that's basically what it is, right? A love for money. Because why else are all these jakes out here? And this is of course mainly speaking about the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the scattered Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. This doesn't apply to any of the other nations that are doing the same thing. But like I was saying, why is it that money is so important to the people of this world to the point where they continuously gloss over all forms of wickedness that you see these various people, you see your fellow Babylonians indulging in, and your whole thing is, oh, as long as it's making money, right? As long as they are making money out of it. But I guess that is just a function of the society they are living in, right? The kingdom they are in. America, Babylon the Great, where folly is set in great dignity and the rich sit in a low place. That's why these skit makers, that's why these content creators that are basically clowns, are amassing so much wealth. All these streamers, your Kai Cenats, your I Show Speed, your Kata Efe, even here in Nigeria as well, these streamers are making hell of money, right? You impel them. They even to the point where people are start calling it out as an Olodo uprising. And basically, what the word Olodo means in Nigeria is a fool, right? An idiot. So you have a lot of people that are speaking on this, and that's because these streamers, right, the Twitch, the quick kick and all that, love to go out here and just make a complete fool out of themselves, and in many cases practice wickedness as well, which once again leads us back to these Nigerian skate makers that I just clipped in this video. And you see that that's wicked as hell, man, to be going out here, dressed as a woman. That's not just wickedness but confusion, right? And it, of course, it goes without saying that this is the part of the fruit of America, Babylon the Great, right? So like I was saying, okay, we have this uprising of folly and of wickedness and of foolishness, and that's why you have this saying in the world that a fool and his money are soon departed. So you are doing all this, right, all your ridiculous outlandishness, all this wickedness in order to make as much wealth as possible, but at the end of the day, that money just going to end up leaving your pockets anyway and basically drying out, because like I said, a fool and his wealth are soon departed. So let me get another quick precept, right? Because that's the funny thing about all these dudes out here that are all these content creators that are out here just doing these, whether it's a prank video, right, whether it's a video that is mocking the scriptures or mocking the Most High, right, so that it's a video that is speaking out and calling out the Hebrew Israelites, and it already does a lot of views, okay, or anything else. At the end of the day, right, all this fall is just going to it's not going to even profit you or even pay you, right, because it's just going to be, let's just get the precept. Proverbs 21 verse 18: the wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright. Hold on, this is in the precept I'm looking for. This is the one I'm looking for. So okay, here it is. So this is the book of Proverbs 21 verse 20. There is treasure to be desired, and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up, right? And whether it's you spend it up, whether it's you eventually lose the money, right? A fool and his wealth are soon departed. And that's the thing about you, all these content creators and skit makers, all these streamers, them that are making all this money from the folly that they are putting out, right? That eventually, I mean, that money is just going to end up being unprofitable for you. And even this wealth that you're amassing in this kingdom, a lot of you, and I have to say the same thing to a lot of you, especially you, mainly this is of course speaking of Esau, but I have to say the same thing to you Jakes as well. A lot of you Jakes, man, the what they are amassing in this kingdom is just going to be a witness against you. Now this is the book of James 5 verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. And of course, he's speaking of Esau Edom, because the rich man in this kingdom is Esau Edom. But you have so many of our people that are wealthy in this kingdom because they have, you know, pleased and done it, and you basically sold themselves out, sold their soul to Esau Edom. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? And the world, of course, being the world cosmos that exists under the rule of Esau Edom, this world of Esau, this wicked system right now that we're under. And you have so many jakes that have basically just done that, sold their soul, right, sold their salvation, right, done the things that, you know, it basically continually do things that continually practice wickedness and follow in the ways of folly, right? The ways of Esau, Edom, ultimately for the riches in this kingdom that we have just read, moth eaten and cankered, right? Corrupted riches. That's what you jakes are fighting and killing and stressing yourself over for, making a fool out of yourself with these ridiculous ass skits, completely humiliating yourself, selling your soul off to this devil, the so-called red man Esau Edom, in order to make this worth. And at the end of the day, it's all corrupted and moth eating, because we already know what is coming up next in this kingdom. Esau is eventually going to phase away the cash, right? So that money, that wealth you have amassed is going to be unprofitable, right, at the end of the day. So like I said, we know the okay, we know the game plan of Esau Edom to eventually phase out the wealth in order to push the CBDC, right, your digital currency that will be powered and stored within the MOTB, because it's all being done for the sake of the mark of the beast, which is the implantable RFID microchip. And Esau Edom, the so-called red man, is already making the moves in order to bring about that situation. These devils are, putting in that work in the lab right now, preparing for, basically preparing to bring that condition, or that situation, for the infrastructure for the MOTB to be pushed throughout the four corners of the earth to effect tirelessly. That's Esau for you, man. All knowledge of wickedness, and you jakes have followed him in that wickedness in this kingdom, which is why you see so many of our people that are so enamored by, like I said, money. I think I've already gotten that preset already. The love of money is the root of all evil. While men had chased after it, they have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So this is the book of First Timothy 6. Okay, I think I've already read that. Like I've already read that, right? The love of money is the root of all evil, and when men have coveted after it, they have pierced themselves through it many sorrows. And that's like I said, right, this is the reason why you see jakes out here, all these different content creators and skit makers, where you watch a video of Jake, acting like a complete fool, right? I show speed will be barking at the camera, guys, not to be jumping up and down and screaming and making, these ridiculous reactions at any small chance they get, right? You have all these skit makers that are constantly speaking against this truth, and mocking the scriptures and mocking the words of the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahushai. All of it is for the sake of money, especially when it's these jigs that have sold out. Okay, and what I mean by sold out is that they are getting a certain amount of money from Esau Edom in order to actually scoff and mock against the scriptures, right? That's like I said, when you see that's like I said, the Most High Yahweh Shami Shai is going to judge you, man. So with that, I'm going to end the video right there. I think that's all I need. That's all I wanted to bring out. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shami Hawashai, Shamra Kakwadash, Wa Abad Babala, and through the Spirit. I hope you are come and you are quite edified. Shalom.